Today on the channel, we got a big one as we're counting down the top 10 best WWE Mattel Elite figures of 2025.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Best of 2025 countdown. And today, we got one of the most popular ones, one of the most wanted ones, as we're counting down my top 10 WWE Mattel Elite figures of 2025. Now, we did do a separate video, me and Todd, I don't know. We did do a Sleeper Elite countdown. We've been doing that every year. I guess officially 20 through 11, Sleeper Elite, call it what you want, but there is another video on the Elites. Check that one out if you missed it. But this is the primo, the cream of the crop. That's what we have here today. Number 1 through 10, and we're going to start at number 10, work our way to number 1. Number 1 being my absolute favorite Elite of 2025. And as I always say, this is my list. Put your list in the comments below. We both can be right. That's the beauty of a list. It is what you like, you don't what you don't. We know how that goes by now. But the Elite line, quite the year in 2025 as we head into 2026. 16th year, 2026 will mark of the Elite line. One of the longest running toy lines of all time. Kudos to the Mattel team. A little bit of a bumpy year this year. A lot of quality issues, especially at the beginning of the year into the middle summertime of the year. Little get fixes here and there, but knock on wood, knock on whatever. The last couple of series of Elites, we've been pretty good as far as joint movement and stuff. The old Vietnam War, is it officially over? It could be. A lot of challenges with Mattel moving factories from China to Vietnam, as we've documented over the last year plus here on the channel. Very unfortunate, constant learning, constant improvement. Let's get it fixed. A lot of good figures, a little less than because of the articulation issues and problems with the figures. Maybe we'll get those rerun and from the vault greatest hits, something in the future. We'll see what happens. Some paint imperfections here and there, but as I always say in my reviews, you see that with any toy line. So you're always going to have that in the Elite line, McFarlane line, Hasbro line, whatever it may be. There's always going to be stuff. Anything mass-produced, you're going to have issues. But a bumpy year this year for the Elites, but you got to give kudos to the Mattel team because, man, we get a lot of figures. You take just the traditional Elite line, you throw in from the Vault line, the greatest hits, the top picks, the Target Legends line, you got the Monday Night Wars line, you got all the different ringside exclusives, you got Mattel Creation exclusives. There is a lot of stuff coming at us at all times, which in sometimes makes figures feel less than special. I think some figures get looked past a little bit because, bam, you get this Cody Rhodes, you got another Cody Rhodes right on the heels of it, where back in my day, all once upon a time, you didn't get figures as fast. We only got X amount of figures. You got maybe 16 figures a year, whatever it was. Now you get 16 in some weeks. So it's just a different time. But there is some standout figures, and that's what we're celebrating here today. The best of the best is voted by me once again. Check out the other video, 20 through 11, but this is the top 10, and let's kick it off at number 10. We begin the countdown at number 10, and I left you with a little bit of a cliffhanger at the last video at number 11, which was the Target Great Muta. Well, number 10 right on his heels, and I always talk about these lists. I do rankings throughout the year of each set and everything, but as time goes on, sometimes guys move around. It might take a couple of months, heck, it might take a couple of hours, and that's kind of where we're at with this one here, as this one is growing on me by the day, and it eclipsed the number 11 one to go to number 10, and quite the plot twist. Where are we going? We're going to Target, we're going to Legends, we're going to the Wrestling Machine, we're going to Kurt Angle here at number 10. And I've said this before on the channel recently in the Target Legends on review of the end of the year, the top 10 Target Legends, that we just haven't got many Wrestling Machine Kurt Angles. We've got a lot of haired Kurt Angles. I wonder how long it's going to take to get more of the bald, this era Kurt Angles. It'll be interesting to see. This is quite the outfit on this one of those most iconic outfits. The extra hands that, we got those, starting like 3 years ago. What is Time adds so much to this, so much extra personality. You got the gold medals. There's a lot to like about this Kurt Angle. Definitely an amazing figure. Coming in, number 10. Here we are at number 9. And number 9, we dive into the female variety here. You know, Todd, we're always here for the ladies. It's a ladies' first channel, as we know around here. But number 9 selection is a character where it feels like we were always chasing our tail with Mattel. The minute they'd come out with a figure, it would just be a little bit outdated, and just a little bit. It was always that kind of cat and mouse game through all the different lines that Mattel makes. But it felt like this version here, I believe Elite 117, it finally felt like they caught up to what we were seeing on TV. Who are we talking about? We're talking about one Rhea Ripley. Shout out to Australia. Shout out to Face Paint. Shout out to Rhea Ripley. An amazing figure, and as of right now, my favorite figure of Rhea Ripley. We've had some good ones. They just always feel a little dated. Like I said, this one, it felt like they finally got it at the right time, and it really hit, and I didn't see this one lasting very long on the shelves. I think I saw this 2 times out at retail, and that's a whole nother story for Mattel, and I think they could improve on, but save that for another video. But here it is, Rhea Ripley, Elite 117, an amazing figure, coming in, number 9. Feeling great at number 8 as usual. And number 8, I could be the only one with this in the top 10, top 20 possibly. But it goes back to these lists. Now, obviously, it goes to the figure. Do I like the figure? Do I like the character? Do I like the look? Do I like how it moves? Do I like the articulation, etc., etc.? But also a big part of this is nostalgia. That's where you see me with maybe more legends than somebody else might. And vice versa, maybe some young whippersnapper out there, they might have, you know, just the current talent in their top 10. It's one of those things, you like what you like, you don't what you don't. I go off of all things considered. I put it out there with the big brush. And obviously nostalgia is a huge part of these things here where, hey, I love Cody Rhodes. Good friend of the channel, Cody Rhodes, as we know. But a random top pick isn't quite as special to me, but maybe it will be one day as the years go by. We'll see what happens. But I always want to say that in these lists, as they're very subjective. And like I always say, no list is right, no list is wrong. It's your list after all. But here we are at the number 8 selection. Number 8, one of the magical points of watching wrestling for me as a little kid when this guy beat Vader for the WCW title. I was jumping on my grandpa and grandma's couch as a little kid. I could not believe what I was witnessing. I was here for it, and it's always stuck with me all these years later, and very happy to get a figure representing that. Where are we going? Well, we're going to the greatest hits line, and this is what the greatest hits line needs to be. Number 8, Ron Simmons. Never forget, and I love that this is basically the Hall of Champions Target exclusive Ron Simmons once upon a time. Tweaked a little bit, but we got a repaint. Don't just re-release things from the vault and greatest hits. Let's mix them up. Let's change them. Let's make it if it was like a Chase version. How about that? And that's what we got with this Ron Simmons. As I said, nostalgia is a heck of a drug, and it was absolutely amazing as a little kid. Vader just seemed like an unbeatable monster, and Ron Simmons stood up for all of us. Even though I liked Vader better, I was all in for Ron winning the title. I thought it was a moment in time. It was amazing. It was quite the magical moment for little Kyle, and maybe little you as well, or maybe old you, who knows? But I love this figure, very cool. And when I look at this, it takes me right back to being at my grandparents and jumping up and down on that couch. That couch also got jumped on when the A's won the World Series in 1989. I had to stay up late for that game. Ooh, it was quite the time, quite the time. But Ron Simmons, feeling great, number 8. Countdown rages on at number 7, and every year Mattel tries to do something different, it seems like. They're trying to do new articulation, new ways of doing things, constant learning, constant improvement. Stop me if you've heard it before. But number 7 selection here, new ground was broken from Mattel, and that's what carried this one into the top 10. Is it the greatest figure ever? No, but it's the start of something special, and you always remember your first, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to number 7. We're going to Ringside Collectibles. We're going to the defining moments. We're going to the Stone Cold Steve Austin with bloody head. Now, we're getting the traditional one from a 3-pack from Walmart in 2026, but we're getting the bloody version here as a Ringside exclusive. Dare I say, I am hopeful, fingers crossed, we can get a future Blood and Guts line from Mattel. I don't know if they'll go that far, but if we could pepper in some alternate heads with blood, maybe some blood down to the body. I'm thinking of like JBL, Eddie Guerrero, blood baths, John Cena. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they can do. And then you go in the history of wrestling history. There's tons of different stuff they could do. And I'm here for it. I've always loved a bloody figure. Love the Blood and Guts line from Jazzwares. Now we're kind of getting it with WWE with the start of this. I hope we get more of it in the future. But it is truly groundbreaking, and I would say the biggest ground broke from Mattel this year is the addition of blood in their figures. We got a little bit with that Mankind with the busted up mouth, but this one took it to the next level, and I am here for it. I love it. I hope we see more of it in the future. Stone Cold Defining Moment comes in at number 7. We're at the number 6 spot in the countdown, and this one could be a little bit where people say, what the heck is this? Is a peg warmer, depending on your Walmart store, but this is a peg warmer for a lot of people. But man, oh man, is this a good figure. I love this era of this performer, and this one got it to a T. Where are we going at number 6? Well, we're going to Walmart. Monday Night Wars. The Underbiker, the old Undertaker, is here, and he's back again, and he's riding a Harley. How about that? Love this figure. Close my eyes, think of the Underbiker. Early on in the Underbiker, this is what we think of. A little bit heftier, the Undertaker here, dressed in the trench coat, the denim and leather, bringing us all together. It was you that set our spirit free. We know how it goes by now, but this one is a very fun figure, a very underrated figure, as I know not a lot of people like it. And like I said, I see it peg warming at a lot of stores, but sometimes a peg warmer can be one of the best figures. You just never know how it's going to go. But the Monday Night Wars Undertaker comes in number 6. We hit the halfway point in the countdown. You got your list together. Put it in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel. We got a ton of countdowns, ton of videos for you every single day. And we will be taking the winners from all these videos and putting it into a super countdown to truly find out what the best figure of 2025 is. Ooh, it's going to be steep and it's going to be tough because every figure on that list is an amazing figure. Hardest list to do every single year. We will be doing that in January sometime, so stay tuned for that. But here we are at the number 5 selection, and once again, we're going to Ringside Collectibles. Use code Kyle, save yourself 10%. We're going to the Defining Moments line. We're going to an all-timer that wasn't a wrestler, a manager, an owner, a mouthpiece. He's been a little bit of everything over the years. It is Paul Heyman, ECW, and this really does work for ECW, heart of ECW, but you could also use it one night stand, as we do know. There's a lot of options for this Paul Heyman. An amazing figure, another figure that I'll probably play a little long game in and maybe get a second one of these, but absolutely love how this came out. Just really, really works, and I guess it's a trench coat countdown here at number 6 and number 5, but I love this Paul Heyman. For a lot of people, this is what Paul Heyman is when they close their eyes. A very cool figure, a defining moment character, no doubt about it. Absolutely love this one. Coming in number 5, the Defining Moment, Paul Heyman. And number 4 is another one of those nostalgia-fueled choices here, as I absolutely love this character. I've loved him since the 80s, and this is where I came into him as a character, as a performer, and he stole my heart. Never let go like a young Rhea once upon a time. At number 4, we're going to Target. We're going to the Legends line. We're going to the regular edition, Terry Funk. Absolutely love Terry Funk. Longtime viewers of the channel know my love and passion for Terry Funk. I even got to spend a weekend with Terry Funk one time. It was absolutely amazing to just pick the brain and just have normal chitter chatter and conversation with Terry Funk. It was truly a magical, magical time. And this figure is a magical time frame from where I first was introduced to Terry Funk. I was too young for his WWF run. I obviously saw it with VHS tapes at my local VHS store down the line, but I came into him when he came back to the NWA, feuded with Flair, teamed up with Gary Hart, teamed up with the Great Muta. An amazing, amazing time for my little kid brain watching wrestling, and this little wrestler from Amarillo, Texas just beat me right there in the heart, and this one is amazing. Coming in number 4, Terry Funk, Legends. Getting closer and closer to the top spot in the number 3 selection here. I could call this the sleeper of the top 10 countdown, as I don't feel this one gets the praise it absolutely deserves, and not my favorite performer. As most people know, I've been against this guy since the 80s. I always believed Bobby Heenan, and we all know what happened at WrestleMania 6. We'll never forget WrestleMania 6, but a cool figure's a cool figure. Nostalgia, popular performer, and this is an amazing figure. At number 3, we're going to the Hulkster. We're going to the Greatest Hits Hulk Hogan. Now, this is a bit of a repaint from the box set one from, was it a year ago or so? What is time? Once again, maybe it was 2 years ago. But an amazing Hulk Hogan. And it's weird, is when you think of Hulk Hogan, you think of the red and yellow, obviously. Maybe you think of the NWO type stuff. Not a lot of people think of the white and red. But for me, once again, nostalgia, I go back to that LJN I had as a little kid with this look here. I think of a lot of the matches he had back in the day with the looks like this. Just a fun representation, but what put this one over the edge for me is one of the greatest head sculpts we ever got from Hulk Hogan, from any toy line, going to Jakks, LJN, Hasbro, all points in between. Him having the bandana in his mouth is just so cool and so iconic from the time period. This is just a fun figure, and one of those figures I walk by, it always catches my eye. I love the other one it was based on, but I love this one even more. The Hulkster Greatest Hits comes in number 3. We're nearing the end of the best of 2025 WWE Mattel Elite Countdown as we're at the number 2 spot. And for number 2, we take a trip to Walmart. It could be dangerous. It could be plentiful. You never know what you're going to get at Walmart. As you've seen on my podcast this year and listened to, there's some crazy Walmart stories. Remember that streaker story I told you guys about? Oh, we'll never forget that one. Check that out on the Kyle Peterson Show podcast each and every week. A little business hat talk, a little stories from retail, and all points in between. And my wife, and a lot of people think I forced my wife to be on that podcast, and I don't. And trust me, she's her own woman. She rules the roost around here. I hate to admit it, but I'm going to tell friends like you. But check out the Kyle Peterson Show. But number 2, we're going to Walmart, as I said. So that means the Monday Night Wars line. And we're going to a Chase edition. An amazing figure. It is Chase edition. Booker T TV Champion edition here. Now, the black outfit is the regular edition. The white is the Chase, and a very hard one to find. It took me a while. I forget who helped me find this one. They sold it to me for cost plus shipping, but I actually found one later on. But man, a hard figure to find this year. But something about Booker T in the white. I don't know if it's the nostalgia to the Toy Biz figure once upon a time, but it can't be that for me because I hated that line. You guys know that by now. But this figure stands out. This is an amazing one. And gun to my head, this could be my favorite Booker T figure of all time. Maybe it's time for a Booker T top 10 countdown. And I love Booker T. This is an amazing figure. So amazing. It came all the way up to number 2, which means like a young Highlander, there can only be one. What is the number 1 Mattel Elite figure of 2025? Well, stay tuned. Here it is, the number 1 spot, the number 1 Mattel Elite figure of 2025 as voted by me. Once again, get your list together, put it in the comments down below. Put them in order. That's the hard part. That is the fun part. And man, oh man, it was a fun year for Mattel, as I talked about. But it didn't get much funner than this one here for me. As I always talk about my favorite match of all time, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6. I've never been more jazzed up for anything, but if there was a strong number 2 or a 1A, 1B, it would be from this match. So as I talked about this list, I love good figures, but nostalgia is also a big part of that. Having representation of a magical moment from your childhood in this instance can't be beat, and that's what we got right here at the number 1 selection. We're going to Target. We're going to the Legends line. We're going to the Terry Funk I Quit match, and there it is, the Chase Edition Terry Funk from that Legends line. You know me, I'm a huge Terry Funk fan. I love Terry Funk figures, and this will always be one of my favorite matches of all time, and obviously my favorite Ric Flair and Terry Funk match of all time. I was a little boy, and it was a different time back then, but I was at dinner with my parents, and I could not miss this Clash of Champions, and I told my dad, I don't care, I'm leaving, and I left the restaurant, ran all the way home for like 2 miles, whatever it was. 2 miles with little legs is like 10 miles, Todd McFarlane, but I ran all the way home to get home in time to watch the match, the I Quit match. I'd never heard of an I Quit match. That was the first experience with that. Ric Flair, Terry Funk giving it all they had. Gary Hart on the outside. It was a magical, magical moment. And to get that in action figure form so many years later is extra special to me. You get all the Mattel bells and whistles, beautiful soft goods. You get the chaps on here. You get the branding iron. You got the hat. You get an amazing Terry Funk head. There's so much to like with this one here. We all love a little Terry Funk head from time to time, Todd McFarlane. It's just a beautiful, beautiful figure. And it's just, every time I look at it, brings me back to my childhood, that magical moment. I could do the play-by-play of that whole night, everything I did, the anticipation leading up to that match, a magical time. I don't know if I'll ever have that magical time in wrestling ever again. And I love this Terry Funk and what this represents for me. So the Terry Funk Chase Legends comes in at number 1 for 2025. Once again, put your list in the comments below. Sub the channel as we got so many countdowns as we're talking everything we unboxed here on the channel this year. So many countdowns to make your head spin, but a lot of fun to celebrate 2025 as we look forward to 2026 and the WWE Mattel Elite line. Don't forget, of course, to subscribe to my other channel. Check out Patreon, YouTube channel memberships if you want early access to the videos. like, of course, this channel, all that fun stuff. Thumbs up always helps. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which is also the name of my podcast I talked about with my wife, Angie, available every single Tuesday. And don't forget my book, The Complete Guide to the ECW Original San Francisco Toy Makers and The Complete Guide to the Jakks Class Superstars series, both available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. So for the top 10 elites of 2025, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?